What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Collective MMA channel for episode 16 of Fight IQ. Today, we're going to be covering LFA 239 going down on Friday, August 21st in Ventura, California. Be sure to hit that like, hit that subscribe. Note that we will have PFL Tampa Bay breakdown going down tomorrow, and we'll also have 5 MMA bets in just 10 minutes coming out tomorrow as well. So hit that like, hit that subscribe, and let's jump right into it. In the first fight of the night, we have Ryan Firinaiu versus Yoan Robert-Ramirez. Firinaiu is coming in at plus 115, and Robert-Ramirez at minus 155. Ramirez here, he's making his first MMA debut, professional or amateur. Him being 0-0 obviously doesn't tell the whole story. He's a former Cuban international freestyle wrestler, and he earned a bronze medal at the Junior Pan American Championships. So yeah, we don't know too much about him. There's not any tape on him, but he does have a pretty high level wrestling background. And on the Firinaiu side, he's a pretty good striker. Pressure, good step and elbows, throws leg and teep kicks, basic combos. He mixes up his targets. Pretty good sprawl and takedown defense. It works back to the feet if he is taken down. He likes the cage push, and he's got some decent grappling. I'm going to lean towards Firinaiu getting this one done by either TKO or decision. I'm just going to pick him because, he looked pretty good in his last fight against a guy that was trying to take him down. And there's just a lot of unknowns with Ramirez here. This is Ramirez's first MMA fight, so we don't know, what kind of heart he has, what his cardio is going to look like in round 3, that kind of thing. If he is able to get his wrestling going, he could make this one look easy. So I'm probably not going to bet this one because of the unknowns, but give me Firinaiu as the pick. Next up, we have Terrell Bosen versus Christopher Collins. Bosen is coming in at plus 250 and Collins at minus 400. On the Collins side, he was actually Firinaiu's opponent in his last fight. Collins, okay striker, pretty uncomfortable on the feet. He'll throw some leg kicks, overhands, basic combos. Pretty limited on the feet, I would say. He's mainly striking to set up his takedowns. He'll look to cage push. He's got okay takedowns, doesn't have the best top control, does have a wrestling background, and he much prefers to be the hammer rather than the nail. And on the Bosen side, this guy hasn't fought in 11 years or so and has fought at heavyweight for when he was fighting. He's a pretty good striker, basic combos, boxing attack. He likes to pressure. He can get stuck against the cage. Does have pretty good clinch knees. He's got some decent grappling, and he's a purple belt in jiu-jitsu. This is one where, I think this fight could be very close, and I just don't agree with the line. So I'm going to actually pick Bosen by knockout. It is tough to pick a guy, who hasn't fought in 11 and a half years, but I'm not that high on Collins, and I think Bosen could keep this fight on the feet and then end up rolling downhill. He looks to be in pretty good shape from what I've seen on Instagram, and he's going to have a lot more pathways to win. Collins has got pretty good wrestling, but, it's kind of wrestling or bust for him here. And, Bosen isn't really going to have to worry about what's coming back his way too much. Not a super high confidence pick, obviously, just because of the unknowns and Bosen, not having fought in 11 years and coming down to light heavyweight. But yeah, I can't bet Collins at this price. And this is a dog or pass situation, so it would be Bosen or pass. Next up, we have Sevak Khachatryan versus Aiden Ingram. Khachatryan is at minus 165 and Ingram at plus 145. This one, on the Khachatryan side, he's a decent striker. He likes to pressure, but he does look to pick his shots, which leads to him being low volume quite often. He's got basic combos, some decent power, variety of kicks. He likes to swarm his opponents with volume once he wobbles them or if he wobbles them. He's got all right takedown defense, and he can get stuck against the cage. On the Ingram side, he's a pretty good striker. He'll throw some leg kicks. He's got a good jab, good boxing combos. He mixes up his targets. He does struggle defending the leg kicks a little bit, uses feints well. He is a little bit hittable, but he is durable. He's got pretty good power, and he does jump the ghillie. In this one, I'm going to go with Ingram by knockout here. I think Ingram has some pretty fast hands and clean combos. I think he should be able to put it on Khachatryan and have a lot more volume. He'll also be able to have more power in this one. Khachatryan, should look to use the leg kicks here, as Ingram has had trouble defending them. But Ingram also does have an edge in the box, so there's a chance he gets stung as he, throws a leg kick. He gets hit with the cross. So, yeah, I think Ingram finds a way to get this one done. We will keep moving. Next up, we have Trever Devestern versus Edmund Kwan. Kwan is coming in at minus 340, and Devestern is coming in at plus 274. On the Kwan side, pretty good striker, basic combos. He's pretty quick. He's got good clinch knees and elbows, decent sprawl and takedown defense, pretty good grappling. He can get stuck on bottom position. He's got pretty good top control and also pretty good ground and pound. And on the Devestern side, he's a decent striker, works the jab and leg kicks. He does mix up his targets. He also struggles defending leg kicks, and he is mainly looking to strike to set up his takedowns. He's got pretty good takedowns, I would say. Decent top control. He's a back taker, pretty good ground and pound, pretty good grappling, and he's got good cardio. This one, I think Kwan is going to get this one done by later TKO or decision, but he doesn't need to fight smart in this one, and he's going to need to keep his fight on the feet, or if they're grappling, he's going to need to be on top in this one. Devestern is kind of that relentless style wrestler, so, he's going to have to mind his P and Qs, not overextend and be off balance to give up easy takedowns. If Devestern is able to get his wrestling going, it could be a long fight for Kwan where he's losing minutes off his back, getting frustrated, that kind of thing. I think the line is a little bit wide and there could be some value on Devestern, but I do think Kwan gets it done in the end, but I'm not sure if I end up playing this one. Next up, we have Joaquin Garcia versus Orlando Sanders. Garcia is coming in at minus 900 and Sanders is coming in at plus 613. On the Garcia side, he's an all right striker. His striking has been looking better each fight. He works the jab and mixes up his targets, but he's also mainly looking to strike just to set up his takedowns. He's got decent takedowns, clench knees, pretty good back taker, pretty good grappling, good rear naked choke, and he's a finisher. Note that the level of competition Garcia has been fighting is definitely questionable. He pretty much just gets these guys, down immediately in round one, gets to the back and then chokes them out. So it's tough to translate that to higher level competition. On the Sanders side, I think he's a decent striker. I think he's going to be the better striker in this one. He works the jab, boxing combos, leg kicks, pressure. He's also mainly striking to set up his takedowns. He's also got decent takedowns, pretty good grappling. He attacks subs. He's got good transitions, and he's got a good arm triangle. So, yeah, it's interesting because both guys, are going to be looking to get this fight to the mat on their terms. And as far as an official pick, I'll take Garcia by sub, but this is a clear dogger pass situation for me. As I mentioned, Garcia's finished everybody, within the first couple minutes of round one. And Sanders is no slouch in the grappling and is likely the better striker in this one. I think this line is actually quite wide, again, unless Garcia just finishes him in round one again. But yeah, I think Sanders definitely has a path to win in this one. And at plus 613, I wouldn't, mind a small shot on him by any means. So we will keep on moving. Next up, we have Irakli Kuchukhidze versus Austin Clayton. Kuchukhidze is coming in at plus 383 and Clayton at minus 500. On the Kuchukhidze side, decent striker, leg kicks, basic combos. He's a bit of a plotter, isn't very fast on the feet by any means either, isn't super comfortable on the feet, tends to be pretty low volume, mainly striking to set up his takedowns. Got pretty good scrambles and takedown defense. He's physical, attacks front chokes, likes to cage push and sort of grind his opponents out, struggles defending leg kicks, and slows as the fight goes on. He's got decent takedowns of his own. Clayton is a pretty good striker, works the jab, basic combos. He likes the pressure, got good volume, deep kicks. He mixes up his targets and strikes. He does leave himself open to counters at times and has his chin up in the air. Does have pretty good takedown defense, attacks front chokes. He's got good grappling, good clinch knees and elbows, and he also likes to work the dirty boxing. I like Clayton this one. I like Clayton by knockout. I think he's going to have a sizable advantage in the striking, and he's going to put out a lot more volume. He has a lot more weapons on the feet and should be able to shut down the wrestling of Kuchukhidze. I think he's going to be able to, back up Kuchukhidze, make him uncomfortable, mix up, the kicks, knees, elbows, punches, everything like that. And I see him, finding a finish, probably round 1 or 2. I'm going to go with in this one. Next up, we have Nika Sabanashvili versus Artur Gadzhikhanov. Gadzhikhanov, he's a decent striker, works the jab, throws combos. He's got fast hands, deep kicks. He's willing to trade in the pocket. Pretty good sprawl and takedown defense. He can get stuck against the cage. Good clinch knees and elbows. Decent takedowns. He's a back taker, and he's got some decent grappling. On the Sabanashvili side, decent striker, pressure. He looks to pick his shots, which leads to him being low volume. Some basic combos, okay takedown defense, can get stuck on bottom position. He's got okay grappling, attacks the subs, and uses them to try and sweep. And he's got pretty good ground and pound. I like Gadzhikhanov, probably by decision in this one, or maybe a late finish. I think he's just going to be landing a lot more volume on the feet and land the much better shots. The grappling will be fairly close, but I'd still give the edge to Gadzhikhanov. And I think he's just the more well-rounded guy, and he should look good here. He can win minutes on the feet or on the mat. We will keep moving. Next up, we have Benny Orozco versus Dzhamal Mavliudov. Orozco is coming in at minus 208 and Mavliudov at plus 179. In this one, on the Orozco side, he's a decent striker, basic combos, pressure. He's got high kicks, mainly striking to set up his wrestling. He can get a bit wild at times with the flurries, leaving openings. Not the most defensively sound. He's got, decent takedown defense. Does work back to the feet if he is taken down. He's got decent takedowns, pretty good grappling, and he much prefers to be the hammer. He's also a back taker. On the Mavliudov side, he's a pretty good striker. Variety of kicks. He works the jab. He's got good knees, mixes up his strikes and targets. Okay takedown defense. Does have a sambo background. He can get stuck on the bottom, and he does jump the ghillie. I wanted to pick Mavliudov here, but I can't do it. I think I'm going to go with Orozco to get this one done by decision or a late finish. Mavliudov is going to have a sizable edge in the striking, I think, but Orozco is going to have a sizable edge in the grappling. I just can't trust Mavliudov to keep this fight on the feet. And I think Orozco gets his grappling game going. The longer this fight goes, the better it is for Orozco. I think, as Mavliudov starts to get tired from defending the takedowns, his takedown defense is just going to get worse and worse. Note that Orozco did have a slight weight miss by about 2 pounds. So typically that's a red flag. Sometimes guys do it intentionally, but it's hard to say. But just wanted to note that as well. Next up in the co-main event, we have Daniel Frunza versus Jonathan Haynes. We got Frunza at minus 260 and Haynes at plus 215. On the Frunza side, he's an all right striker. Variety of kicks, basic combos, got some decent power. He is on the lower volume side of things. Okay takedown defense. He can get stuck against the cage and on bottom position. He does slow as the fight goes on. He is fairly hittable and not the most defensively sound. Much prefers to be the hammer. Doesn't deal with pressure all that well. And Frunza is taking this on short notice. On the Haynes side, he's a decent striker. Basic combos, pressure. He looks to counter. Decent power. He's down to brawl. Not the best takedown defense. Hittable. Can get stuck on bottom position. He's got an interesting sub-arsenal, and he does have a lot of heart. I think you got to go with Frunza in this one, even though he's taken on short notice. Haynes has wrestled more in the past, like earlier in his career, but he's been striking a lot more recently. Haynes isn't a world beater, and if he decides to strike with Frunza, Frunza, I think, can land, more volume, land the more impactful shots. There's some things about Frunza that I don't like. He definitely doesn't seem to be the most durable and seems to get hit a fair bit. But, I just think he's better experience, better striking, everything like that. And, Haynes has a puncher's chance, but if he doesn't land the perfect shot or he doesn't, wrestle and get the wrestling game going, I got to think Frunza rolls in this one and, gets a late finish or potentially a decision. Now we are moving on to the main event. Guys, be sure to hit that like, hit that subscribe, leave me a comment. Really appreciate all the support so far. And I love chatting with you guys in the comments as well. In the main event, we have Manuel Exposito versus Chris Mecate. We got Chris Mecate at minus 300 and Exposito at plus 245. Exposito is a decent striker, throws a lot of combos, especially like looping hooks, kind of power shots. Not the most defensively sound. He throws some high kicks. He's got decent power. He likes to pressure, decent takedown defense. He is durable, decent takedowns of his own, and he is down to brawl. On the Mecate side, he's a decent striker, leg kicks, solid leg kicks, basic combos, uses feints pretty well. He's willing to trade in the pocket. Also, he likes to pressure. He's got good wrestling, good grappling, good takedown defense, and he works back to the feet if he's taken down. I got to pick Mecate in this one. I think the striking is going to be competitive, and Mecate's going to have, a sizable wrestling edge in this one. Exposito gets hit a lot more than I like and doesn't seem to have the best overall process and fight IQ, whereas, fight IQ is good on the Mecate side, and I think he's going to come in with a good game plan, mix it up, and I think he's going to find a way to get this one done. I'm going to lean towards decision or possibly a late finish. So that does it for the main event. We will move on to the next segment, the fighter to watch and the fight to watch. My fighter to watch in this one, I'm going to go with Austin Clayton. I think he is a, very entertaining fighter, throws a lot of volume, has a lot of tools in his bag. I think he's going to end up putting a clinic on the feet here, and he's going to get a finish to add to his highlight reel. So give me Austin Clayton as my fighter to watch. And my fight of the night, I got to go with the main event, Exposito versus Chris Mecate. I think both guys are going to want to throw down here, want to hurt their opponents. I think this fight will spend a good amount of time on the feet, and both guys are going to be looking to put each other out. So I'm expecting violence in this one. Whether it goes, whether it's a finish or it goes to a decision, I think we're going to see a lot of strikes thrown and landed. So I think this will be a good fight to watch. So that does it for the fight to watch and the fighter to watch. Note that, as I mentioned in the start of the video, we will have 5 MMA bets in just 10 minutes coming out tomorrow or on Friday. We will cover UFC bets and potentially some from PFL. And we'll also have a PFL Tampa breakdown coming out on Friday as well. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Hit that like, hit that subscribe, leave me a comment. Let me know what you guys think of the LFA 239 card. Let me know your predictions. Let me know who you guys are thinking of betting on. We're trying to build a community here. We want to help each other out. If you got some information, you got something that you like, put it in the comments and let's make some money together. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll catch you guys in the next one.